Hello, my dear students. I am your maths teacher. I hope you all remember me. Miss Bisma, your maths teacher. How are you all doing, I hope you all must be doing really good, right? Must be enjoying at home, playing with stuffs. Are you all sanitizing your hands? Especially in this condition, in this situation? Yes, you all should sanitize your hands. Take good care of yourselves. And yes, keep this thing in your mind and don't go out unnecessarily, especially in this condition. You are not allowed. So, yes, let's get started with our new chapter. Does anybody have any guesses what we are learning today? I want all you to guess. What are we learning today? Come on, tell me. You can guess. We are learning today fractions.
Yes, my students. So, what are we learning today? We are learning fractions. What are we learning? Fractions. What does fraction means? Fraction means that shows parts of a whole. Like, can you see this box? Can you see this box? Yes. It has two parts. How many parts are there? There are two parts. 1 and 2. So we are learning today fractions cutting in half. Fractions cutting in half. We are learning how we can cut the objects in half. Okay? Yes. What are fractions? Fractions are that shows parts of a whole, like a whole object that shows parts. For example, as I have told you that it tells us about the parts. It has how many parts? Two parts. How many parts? Part 1 and part 2. A whole object shows us about the parts.
Now tell me, what does this picture shows? Come on, tell me, what does this picture shows? An apple? Is it a full apple? Is it a whole apple? No, this apple has been cut into half. Into two halves. How many halves are there? There are two halves. How many halves? Two halves. A whole apple has a different shape and a half apple have a different shape. Can you see this? Yes, you can. There are two halves of a whole apple, right? Okay, now let's move on to our next example. What is it? Is it a cake? Yes, it is a cake. How many halves are there? There are two halves. How many halves are there? There are two halves of a whole cake. Can you see this? A whole cake? Yes, you can see a whole cake. Then what we have, but we have to cut this cake into two halves. How we have cut? We have cut equally into two halves, right? Good. I hope now it's easy for you to understand. Can you see this? There are two halves. How many halves are there? Two halves of a whole cake, right? So what we are going to do, we will write the parts, that how many parts are there. There were two parts, and how many each one got? One part. So we will write down two down and one on the top. Got it? Can you see this? Can you see this ball? How many parts are there? Two parts. One half is of red color and other half is of white color. Can you see that? So how many parts are there? There are two parts. How many parts? Two parts. We have written two on the down and one on the top. Got it?
Let's suppose there are two teddies. Teddy 1 and Teddy 2. And both the teddies are very hungry. Both the teddies are very hungry. So there comes one apple. There comes one apple. But there is only one apple and both the teddies are hungry. What we are going to do? How am I going to serve the apple to both of them? There is only one apple. Teddy 1 and Teddy 2. And I want to give apple to both of them equally. What I will do, I will cut the apple in half equally. So there will be no complaints that I got half, I got more and I got less. I will cut the apple equally. So half of the apple will get to teddy number 2 and half apple will go to teddy number 1. Got it? So tell me, how many parts are there? There are 2 parts. How many parts are there? 2 parts. Part 1 and part 2. And how many of them they have got? They have got only 1 part. How many parts? 1 part. It has got 1 part. Teddy number 1 got 1 part and teddy number 2 got 1 part. So what will it become? Half. How we are going to write half? We will write half this way. How? 1 upon 2. How? 1 upon 2.
Before moving to our exercise from our book, from our classwork that we have to do in our classwork, watch this video.
A fraction. Well, a fraction is something that shows parts of a whole. Let's say there's this lady named Cindy. Cindy has a pizza, which is great. She loves pizza, so yummy pizza. But then her friend Chomsky arrives. You remember Chomsky? Chomsky likes pizza too, and he's a little bit hungry. So maybe Cindy isn't going to eat the whole pizza now. Maybe they're going to split it. What do you think? So they split the pizza in half. Each of them get 1/2 of the pizza. Isn't that neat? Oh, then everyone has pizza. Each of them have 1/2 of the pizza. They split it right down the middle. Now remember, a fraction is something that shows parts of a whole. So here is what the fraction looks like. A 1, a line, and a 2. That is the fraction 1/2. Each of them, Cindy and Chomsky, get 1/2 of the pizza. So this is 1/2. It's a very important fraction because we use it all the time. Now you might be wondering, what do the numbers mean and how does it show 1/2? Well, the bottom number shows the total number of...
Yes, now let's get to our homework. Equal parts having collections. What we have to do is we can divide group of things collections into halves. So our question number 1 is Adil has divided his marble collection in half. How many marbles in Adil's collection? First, what they are asking, how many collections are there in Adil's desk? First, we have to count how many marbles are there. Then you have to write it here. How many marbles in each half? You have to write it down here. Now let's come to our question. This one. Crocodile has divided his fish catch into 2 equal parts. Half for his friend and half for himself. So, how many fish in the whole catch? How many fishes are there? You have to count it and write it down here. How many fish in each half? You have to write it down here. Got it? Look at these collections. Draw a line to divide them in halves. Then color half of each collection. What you have to do, let's come to number A. First, we have to half it and we have to draw a line equally. Okay, and then we have to color half part. Is it easy? Similarly, we have to do in number B and in number C. You have to divide it equally into halves and then draw a line and then color half part. I hope it was an easy topic for you all to understand. Okay, do your homework very nicely. We'll meet you in the next class. Goodbye.